Outside they're pale. Fancy shades rip closed to block out our slow and awkward passing. We hear their car doors electrically locking when we limpingly drew too near. Pulling in their children, they dropped their eyes and moved away. We felt the wind of their vehicles passing far too closely as we slunk along the highway. Their hands grasped to assure their valuables as they left us in their hurried wake. Lights came on as we shuffled by part of the cold and dark they kept outside. Infants stared blankly back as they were carried quickly away from us. Their elders' eyes focused at points somewhere below and beside our dirty faces. We walked where they only drove and tasted their palpable distrust as well as their exhausts. They had us removed from public places when we made them feel ill at ease. They laughed and talked louder just to utterly crush our too silent presence. We tried to act like we did not notice, that they pretended that they did not see us. We walked in their hand-me-downs, but we were not their children or their brothers. They swept their dust out upon us as we fumbled through their leftovers. We could not avoid their blank stares, even though dark glasses hid their eyes. They brushed themselves with vigor after our chance and accidental contacts. They learned to just step over us as we learned to sit sleeping where they walked. They grew impatient with our simple nagging presence every day in their busy lives. We stood in long lines waiting outside their pale in anticipation of rumored handouts. We let go our privacy and reevaluated our dignity under dingy yellow city lights. We were the boogeymen, but our own kids fled the onrushing vans of faceless soccer mommies. They tried to trap us in a net of ordinances, but we slipped through like spineless jellyfish moochers. The papers ran short paragraphs when their misfits beat one of us to death at night. They shook their heads when we froze to death outside the overfilled homeless shelters. We crowded dirtily into the libraries and city parks, much to their disgust. Possessed of neither cell phones nor addresses, no good jobs awaited us. Our children crawled the floors of downsized welfare offices in growing, grimy numbers. They covered their faces as we coughed and hacked and spit as they passed nearby. Social workers never approached us without medical gloves, and often they wore masks. The garbage men and street sweepers looked down with great disdain upon us. They charged us with vagrancy and public nuisance since we had nowhere to go. But too many offered us their help, but only on Christmas and Thanksgiving Day. We shuffled by honest citizens from understaffed shelters to overcrowded rescue missions. We spent days waiting at the ER, just trying to drive up their health insurance premiums. We ate day-old bread in cast-off clothes as our kids' noses ran, and we choked upon despair. We finally realized our lives were better left unseen, and our needs were best left unspoken.